Hey guys, what's up? Vicstar999 here, and today I am doing a review of Spirit Tracks. If you guys are not familiar, I am doing a review of every Zelda game chronologically. So the last game we played was Phantom Hourglass, which if you haven't seen that video, go check it out on my channel. So for the adult timeline, I enjoyed Wind Waker, and Phantom Hourglass was my least favorite Zelda game to date. So Spirit Tracks could go really either way. Anyway, enough talk, let's just get into this. To begin, we are doing controls. I played it on an emulator. If you saw my Phantom Hourglass, I played the exact same way. So it was a point and click with a mouse, which is, I guess, similar to the DS, but there was times where the controls just sucked. But once again, I chose to play an emulator, so that is my problem. With that being said, wasn't the worst. I would give it a 6 out of 10 for controls on an emulator. Next category is storyline and lore. If you guys don't know anything about this game is train themed. With that being said, I am still so confused by this game. I just feel as though trains is just such a random choice for a Zelda game. Like, we've never seen anything like it, so bonus points for that. But so random compared to the last two games in this timeline. So with that being said, I expected the storyline to be very unique, as well as the lore to not tie in with other things, because no one has ever mentioned a train in the way that this game does. This is kind of a spoiler, but not really, because, you know, Phantom Hourglass and Wind Waker were both on the water, so how are we on land doing a story about trains? But Spirit Tracks does briefly mention that there were ancestors to this Zelda and Link when they came here, so you can kind of, you know, assume that Tetra and Link came to these lands and created the new Hyrule that is in Spirit Tracks, and for some reason set up a train system, or the train system was already there. I don't really know. Just a lot of holes in the story, I felt like. I felt like even when I was done with the story, I was like, I still have so many questions. And the storyline, it was fun, it was good. The trains were weird, but you know, it was a fun addition into the game, and you have to do all your different temples. So the temples, after you complete them, they connect tracks. So once again, train themed. The main antagonist in this, there's kind of two, maybe three if you want to count them. Spoiler. We have Chancellor Cole, who's this little redhead, kind of looks like a leprechaun, like short redhead, green. He has horns later on. And then there's Burn, which I won't talk too much about him probably until later, which is the kind of antagonist I mentioned. And then there is the Demon King, which of course the minute I heard that, I was like, oh my god, he's back, you know, he's better than ever. And then they said, the Demon King Malladus, and I was like, who? So with that being said, that was also another random thing. So not only are we suddenly on land somehow, we suddenly have a whole railroad system, all surrounded around these things called the Locomos, like there's a lot of play on words. Now we also have a new Demon King called Malladus. I don't know, it was very weird. With that being said, the storyline I thought was well done, but the lore I thought was just so random, and I was just so confused. And I don't know if that's just a me thing, I don't think it ties into the other games, except for the mention of Tetra and the head Locomo Angine talking about Tetra and talking about Zelda's ancestors. But other than that, I'm like, this doesn't tie in with any game at all. So with that being said, I would give the storyline and lore a 6 out of 10. The storyline wasn't bad. The lore just, it was lacking, and they tried to create something new without tying back to how we got from sea to land more in depth. Onto the next category is gameplay. I enjoyed the gameplay. It was like Phantom Hourglass in the sense of there is that one place you have to keep returning to, but it was much better than Phantom Hourglass. If you haven't seen that review, I was ranting and raving about this stupid, I don't even know what it's called now, Temple of the Ocean King, I think. Like, that's how mad I was, like, forgetting the name. And there is something like that in this game, but it's much easier. It's not timed. It changes each time you do it, so you never have to repeat a section. So I enjoyed that a lot more. And then of course there's the different regions you have to go and visit, and you go by train. So everything's very scenic, and I really enjoyed that. Although the train did take a while, you can get teleportation stations, if you will, if you don't want to take the time to do train, because it does take a while. But all the different regions were so interesting. The mobs were not hard at all. The bosses were easy. I actually gained a few favorite bosses from this game. I was shocked. I don't remember their names, but I'll probably put pictures of them up here. I had a lot of fun with the bosses and the temples in this game, except for one, which I'll probably also put here somewhere. But other than that, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were fun. It wasn't easy, but it used a skill that you learned in the temple in a way that was fun, you know, rather than, I can't do this, or, you know, that's so easy, that was a breeze. I don't know, they were fun, they were cute, they were good. The final boss battle, that was a bit of a challenge, and I enjoyed it. So, spoilers, of course, we're going into the final boss battle. You fight a demon train. I didn't mention this when I was talking about the storyline and lore, but there's a demon train. Okay, let's just start out with that. So you fight a demon train, which that battle itself is very interesting. Once again, very random, not like Zelda, and I enjoyed it. Then the next phase, Malladus, who has possessed Zelda's body, we have another puppet Zelda, of course, a beautiful classic, is the next one we have to fight. And while we're fighting him, we're using Phantom Zelda, which is a character introduced into this game that we can use in the tower, right? So Zelda possesses a phantom, so you just have this big, jacked, like, suit of armor ready to go, and it's just little Zelda. But with that being said, she is scared of rats. So anytime there's rats, she'll just stop suddenly. She'll stop what she's doing. So in this final boss phase, Chancellor Cole is throwing like these evil rats down at her while we're trying to use her as a human shield to get to Puppet Malladus.
Zelda, why are you scared of rats? This is embarrassing. At some point, I'm embarrassed.
So once again, a new mechanic, fun, interesting, different. I had a hard time with my clicking, you know, using a mouse, because you have to click back and forth between Link and Zelda, and that was really hard for me because the time it takes for me to click on the different character is the time I needed to do the action, but probably much easier on the DS. And then after that, you fight the Demon King Malladus, who looks a lot like a Demon King we know. He takes the same form, but he's this blue color. It was very much like Wind Waker, where you had to protect Zelda while she's doing her magic little thing, and you had to protect her. So it was fun, and it took skill, and I liked it.
Okay, I'm ready, Zelda! Ready, Zelda! Ready, Zelda! Is she ready? She's like, no.
So with that being said, the gameplay was fun. I have no complaints. It was different. It was weird because of the trains, but it was fun. I would probably give the gameplay an 8 out of 10 because it was so lighthearted, and sometimes it provided a challenge, such as in the final levels of the tower, but it was good, and it wasn't as repetitive as its predecessor, Phantom Hourglass, which has really made me just set the bar so much. Any game will be better than Phantom Hourglass, and I say that, and I still have a whole Fallen timeline to get through, so we'll see. On to our last section is side quests and side characters. So I'm considering this a side quest. I don't know if you'd necessarily call it one, but there are these stamp stations where every, you know, town, region, anytime you can stop your train, there is a stamp station that you can find, and I really thought that was fun because I'm like a sticker collector, a pin collector, you know, I like to collect things. So when I saw that there was a stamp book and you can go get stamps and you could collect them all and you might get, you know, a little something at the end, I was like, oh my god, this is so fun. So I really enjoyed doing that. There was also, when you're riding your train around, there are bunnies hiding that you catch and give back to this rabbit rescue guy, which was super fun again because I love that aspect of catching them and bringing them back to this guy's rabbit rescue. As usual, the side characters were very sweet, and the quests were kind of quirky, and some of them were a little more of a pain to do than worth it. Like for the Gorons, they ask you to bring more ice after you already brought ice, and it's all the way across the map, and it's like, I don't, you know, it's more of an inconvenience than a convenience. So with that being said, I would give the side quests and these side characters a 7 out of 10. So with a 6 out of 10 in controls on an emulator, with a 6 out of 10 in storyline and lore, with an 8 out of 10 in gameplay, and with a 7 out of 10 in side quests and side characters, we come out to a 67.5%, which is roughly a D+. Honestly, like I keep going on about, I knew that this game had to be better than Phantom Hourglass because I was like, we can't sink lower, Nintendo, come on. So I had high hopes for this, at the same time having no hopes for it at all. So I think that made it more fun for me than anything. There was a lot of technical difficulties though, because at one point, my cat laid on my keyboard and made me go back to a past save state, which was at the beginning of the last part of the tower. I'll probably put in the clip.
That was crazy. Whew. Wow, we were not messing around. Okay, that was sure fun.
So I had to redo all that. And then at the very end boss, I got to the final phase and accidentally pressed the same button. So I went back to the beginning where I had to fight the demon train.
What was the skip button, guys? I don't remember. E? I didn't just do that shit again, did I? Tell me I can go back. Tell me I can go back from the save. That should not be an option.
So nothing personal to the game, of course, just a little bit of some technical difficulties while playing, which made me just angry, but no hate on the game due to that, of course, that's a me problem. I really like this game, like I keep mentioning, it was just so weird due to the trains. It was so random. But I understand that it was a DS game, so it was probably aimed a little more at the younger audiences, so maybe that's where the train idea came from. But honestly, I would recommend this game if you have the time or the money or you have access to this game, but I wouldn't go out of my way to find a way to play this game. If you aren't eager to get an emulator, if you don't have a DS, and if you can't find the game for cheap, I wouldn't go out of my way and above and beyond to find a way to play this game. But if you have a friend who has it, or if you emulate, I would recommend you taking the time to play it. Like I mentioned, the lore is nothing. We got nothing. It creates its own lore, but we're at the end of a timeline, so that doesn't matter. As I mentioned at the end of Phantom Hourglass, I didn't think that game was needed at all. This game I also don't think was necessarily needed. This was rather a happy, fun game rather than I'm learning more about Zelda lore or I am improving on my knowledge as a Zelda player, which is good. It's good to have that relaxing, fun, go-lucky, childish game that, you know, just brings joy rather than I'm going to punch a hole in my screen. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys aren't familiar, as I say in every one of these review videos, I'm currently streaming all these Zelda games as I play through them on my Twitch, which is link in my bio. My Twitch is ficstar999_. So if you want to be a part of my active struggles and my active journey while I play the games, please go check that out. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much again for just being here throughout this journey so far. I'm realizing that we're slowly wrapping up this series and it's coming to an end of an era. And it'll be exciting, but sad, because Zelda games are just so beautiful and I never want to stop, but it's almost time. Alrighty guys, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.